Hello everyone, I'm Romar Sitapayan and I'm here to report the important features of Asia. Asia is the world's largest and most diverse continent, covering approximately 30% of the Earth's land area. It also the world's most populous continent with roughly 60% of the total population. It occupies the eastern fifth of the giant Eurasian landmass. Asia is more a geographic term than a homogeneous continent, and the use of the term to describe such as a vast area always carries the potential of obscuring the enormous diversity among the region. It encompasses mountains are important in Asia because they influence population patterns, movement of people and goods, and also the climates. And the most important mountain range in Asia is the Himalayas mountain. Some other mountains in Asia are the Hindu Kush, the Eastern and Western Ghats in India, and the Chan Shan mountain, and the last is Mount Fuji in Japan. Most of the western China is on a plateau called the Plateau of Tibet. Further north is the Mongolian Plateau. The Korean Peninsula and the Japanese island are mountainous. Main rivers in Asia in the Himalayas mountain. And the most important rivers in South Asia are the Indus, the Ganges, and the Brahmaputra. China has three major rivers that begin in the Himalayas and flow into the East China Sea or Yellow Sea. It is Yellow River, Yangtze River, and West River. Asia is surrounded by bodies of water. One important body of water is the Sea of Japan. It's located between the Korean Peninsula and Japan. In Korea, they refer to it's the East Sea. A group of island is called an archipelago. There are many archipelagos in Asia such as Japan, Philippines, Indonesia, Maldives, and some other islands in Asia are Hainan, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Hong Kong. And the second report is the important features of Europe. Europe is often described as a peninsula of peninsulas. A peninsula is a piece of a land surrounded by water on three sides. Europe is a peninsula of the Eurasian supercontinent and is bordered by the Arctic Ocean to the north, the Atlantic Ocean of the west, and the Mediterranean Black and Caspian Seas to the south. Europe is a landmass variously recognized as part of Eurasia, or a continent on its own right, located entirely in the northern hemisphere and mostly in the eastern hemisphere. It comprises the watermost peninsula of the continental landmass of Eurasia. It shares the continental landmass of Afro-Eurasia with both Asia and Africa. Europe is commonly considered to be separated from Asia by the watershed of the Ural Mountain, Ural River, the Caspian Sea, the Greater Caucasus, the Black Sea, and the waterways of the Turkish Strait. Although much of this border is overland, Europe is recognized as its own continent some parts of the world because of its great physical size and the weight of its history and tradition. Cultural geography of Europe has a long history of human development and it is considered the birthplace of Western civilization. As maritime trade and exploration development in the region, Europe has a large number of navigable waterways, and most places in Europe are relatively short distance from the seas. This has of contributed to numerous trading links across the region and allowed for you to dominate the maritime travel. This proximity water also affect Europe climates. While you might imagine much of Europe to be quite cold, cold given its is high latitudinal position, the region is surprisingly temp- temperate. The Gulf Stream brings warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean to Europe coastal region and warms the winds that blow across the continent. Europe Europe physical landforms, climates and underlying underlying resources have shaped the distribution of people across the region. And the third report is the important features of Africa. Africa has eight physical regions: the Sahara, the Sahel, the Ethiopian highland, the Savannah, the Swahili coast, the rainforest, the African Great Lakes, and Southern Africa. Some of these regions cover large band of the continent, such as the Sahara and Sahel, while others are isolated areas such as Ethiopian highland and the Great Lakes. Each of these regions has unique animal and plant communities. The whole of Africa can be considered as a vast plateau rising sleepy from narrow coastal strip and consisting of ancient crystalline rocks. The surface is higher in the southeast and tilts downward toward the northeast. Africa contains enormous wealth of mineral resources, including some of the world's largest reserve of fossil fuel, mythical ores, and gems and metals. This richness is matched by a great diversity of biological resources, and that includes the intensely lush equatorial rainforests of the Central Africa and the world famous population of wildlife of the eastern and southern portion of the continent. Although agriculture still dominates the economies of many African countries, the exploitation of these resources became the most significant economic activity in Africa in the 20th century. Climatic and other factors have exerted considerable influence on the patterns of human settlement in Africa. While some areas appear to have been inhabited more or less continuous since the dawn of humanity, in numerous regions, notably the desert areas of northern and southeastern Africa, have been largely unoccupied for prolonged periods of time. Thus, although Africa is the second largest continent, it contains only about 10% of the world population and can be said to be underpopulated. The greater part of the continent has long been inhabited by the black peoples, but in historic times, there also occurred major long imaginary imagination from both Asia and Europe. Of all foreign settlement in Africa, that of the Arabs has made the greatest impact of the Islamic region, which the Arabs car. And the fourth report is the important features of America. Americas, also called America, the two continents North and South America of the Western Hemisphere. The climatic zone of the two continents are quite different in North America. Subarctic climate prevails in the north, gradually warming southward and finally becoming tropical near the southern isthmus. isthmus. In Southern America, the climate in the north is tropical, becoming the colder southward, and finally becoming a cold marine climate at Cape Horn. The American can be roughly divided into two major cultural regions. Latin America, which is include North America south of the Rio Grande, the island of the West Indies, and all of South America, and the Anglo-America, which include Canada and the United States. The term Middle America is sometimes used to designate Mexico, Central America, and the West Indies collectively, along with their associated islands. The Americas cover 8% of Earth's total surface area and 28.4% of each land's area. The topography is dominated by the American Cordillera, a long chain of mountains that runs the length of the West Coast. North America, the third largest continent, extends from the Aleutian Island in the northwest to the Isthmus of Panama in south. The continent includes the enormous island Greenland in the northeast, and the small island countries and territories that do the Caribbean Sea and western North Atlantic Ocean. In the far north, the continent stretches halfway around the world, from Greenland to the Aleutian, but at Panama's narrowed part, the continent is just 50 kilometers to 31 miles across. South America, the fourth largest continent, extends from the Gulf of Darien in the northwest to the Tierra del Fuego archipelago in the south. South America's diverse agriculture product, vast mineral wealth, and plentiful fresh water. It also has rich fisheries and ports on three bodies of waters: the Caribbean Sea, Atlantic Ocean, and the Pacific Ocean. The continent economy is centered on the export of natural resources. Central Am- Natural resources. Central America is a region of the Americas. It is bordered by Mexico to the north, Colombia to the south, the Caribbean Sea to the east, and the Pacific Ocean to the west. Central America consists of seven countries: Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. Their combined population is estimated at 44.53 million. Central America is part of the Mesoamerican biodiversity hotspot, which extends from northern Guatemala to central Panama. To the presence of several active geologic faults and the Central American volcanic arc, there are a great deal of the seismic activity of the region, such as volcanic eruption and earthquake, which has resulted in injury and property damage. The report is the important feature of Australia and Oceania. Oceania is the region made up of thousands of islands throughout the Central and South Pacific Ocean. It includes Australia, the smallest continent in terms of total land area. Most of Australia and Oceania is under the Pacific, a vast body of water that is larger than all the Earth's continental land masses and islands combined, the main Oceania. Justly established the Pacific Ocean as the defining characteristic of the continent. Oceania is dominated by the nation of Australia. The other two major landmasses of Oceania are the microcontinent or Zealandia, which include the country of New Zealand and the eastern half of the island of New Guinea, made up the nation of Papua New Guinea. Oceania also includes three islands island regions, Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia, including the U.S. state of Hawaii. Oceania, conventionally, there are four main geographic regions or subregions in Oceania: Australia, New Zealand, Melanesia, Micronesia, Polynesia. Oceania. There are variety of the definition of Oceania. The most plausible is to refer to the vast region, island territories, and adjacent seas in the Pacific Ocean, seas of maritime Southeast Asia and Australia and west of the South America. How many countries are the Oceania? There are 14 independent countries and several dependent territories area. Oceania covers the area of approximately 100 million square kilometers. This is about one-fifth of Earth's surface area. The water content includes more than 10,000 islands with a total land area, excluding the Australia, but including Papua New Guinea and New Zealand, of the approximately 881 kilometer to. It is larger than Turkey as a somewhat smaller than half of the island.